Hey, yo, it's your girl, Corey.
It's your boy Kimmis, and welcome back to Black Box Conversations, where we give guidance to issues and topics that you may be going through. Today, we're going to do something a little bit differently. Instead of having our Q&A session, and look, you guys can always drop questions in the chat, always comment. Today, we're going to be covering a particular topic. We're going to start out with love languages, and then we're going to transition into love in general. So, sister, go ahead and kick us off.
Hold on really quick. I don't know why, but there's technical difficulties. So we had did a little research, and we learned that the 5 love languages are basically based on childhood trauma. So let's see. I don't know if you want to start it off, but my computer is having a little bit of difficulties right now.
Okay. So the term love language was actually coined by Dr. Gary Chapman, who's a pastor. I think he wrote the book in 1992. So he was counseling all of these different couples or whatnot. And after counseling all these different couples, he figured out that couples respond to things differently. Now, love was always the centerfold of every couple, but how that love was communicated was completely different. And so he coined these terms he coined this term love languages, and he came up with 5 different types of love language, right? So the first one is words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service, receivable gifts. Now, each and every individual has their own love language. We use all 5 of them, but one of them is your primary love language. Me, myself, personally, looking back at my childhood, how I was raised and how I was brought up, I kind of figured out the reason why I respond to things the way that I respond is because of how I was raised. So me, myself, personally, I'm a lone wolf. I do things by myself. I've always been by myself. I was raised by my great grandmama. She passed away when I was 16. So I had to figure a lot of life out by myself. And I had to learn how to cope with my own emotions. I've always went internal to process things. And so when I met my wife, my beautiful Christina Nicole Anthony, because that's her last name now. When I met my wife or whatnot, I had to learn how to communicate my love. And this is what, this is what you'll learn too. Everyone speaks the same language, but the communication is different. So that's why they call it love language. The word language means to break down, to communicate, to articulate, to verbalize. So how do you communicate? How do you articulate your love? To me, it could be me giving gifts. To her, it may be words of affirmation. Everyone has something differently. I don't know about you, sister, but what's your love language?
My love language is words of affirmations and acts of services. And doing further research, you learn, like, I was curious, like, why do I gear towards those things where other people may be more physical touch and quality time? You would think, like, with love, you would want to spend time with that person. And I would think that would be my number 1. So when we were doing research, it turns out that it's based off of what you didn't get as a child and what you were neglected from. Like, it may be something you got as a child, but it's something that you wanted more of as a child. Like, for me, like, words of affirmations, if I wasn't praised enough about certain things, or if I was put down, not saying that didn't happen, but I may have wanted a little bit more praise as a child. And also, me being an only child, the acts of services, I learned that came in because I didn't have no one to turn to or ask for help. It was always me alone, like my brother said, like a lone wolf. And also, like, with quality time, like, if someone was like an only child or they didn't spend that much one-on-one time with their parent, when they got as an adult, that's what they look for in a partner. So, and if you just, some people, military background, sometimes they're not really more as affectionate with their kids. So physical touch could be that person when they grow up into an adult. That's what they look for, because that's not something that they have, like, growing up. Like, giving gifts and stuff may have been something that they received, but actual physical touch and being hugged and, being nurtured is something that they like and something that they look for as an adult. But also, I had not just that, I was wondering like how people fall in love in general.
Man. So okay. Well,
Go ahead.
that's interesting. No. Because that's interesting, right? Um, Kind of what I was covering the last time or whatnot, and you asked the key question: how people fall in love. So we can go ahead and break it down, right? There's 3 C's. There's chemistry, there's compatibility, and there's connection. So usually when an individual meets someone, right? You ain't never seen this person before, but when you meet it, you got instant chemistry. Y'all kick it out. Y'all have deep and passionate conversations that feel like you guys have a bond, right? That chemistry can lead people wrong though, because people just try to build up the chemistry system and they have no compatibility, right? So if you come and you meet this person and they feeling you and you feeling them, what happens in the brain is neurotransmitters, they go off in your neocortex. So it releases dopamine and serotonin, and now it's almost like you getting a reward, right? So this is how it's built. This is how that spark, happens or whatnot. Go ahead.
Okay, so the key thing to what you said is dopamine. That's what a man releases whenever he falls in love. Well, see, a female, whenever we fall in love, we release dopamine too, but we also release oxytocin, and that comes from intercourse.
Yeah.
See, when you wonder why you're getting in these situationships and why like a man has a side chick, but they never marry that side chick, or they have like a bed buddy or someone that they have like beautiful like sexual relations with, but they never fall in love with that person. Come to find out, whenever a man is having sex, they produce testosterone, because that's the sex hormone in a man. So the more the sooner you have sex with a man, the worse it is on you, because their testosterone jumps up. And whenever the testosterone jumps up, it prevents the dopamine from even coming through. It's like a block. So the way that the man falls in love is actually through bonding. And that gets me back to the love languages. So physical touch and, what's the other one? Quality time is more of a man's love language. So if you're looking...
But not every man's love language, though.
That's the way that they fall. It may not be their necessarily love language, but it's the way to get them on the path of falling in love, because the more you spend quality time and bond with a man, the less testosterone they have. It's like breaking a wall down. But the more like you think, okay, because you hear like a lot of people, they'll be like, well, he's always gonna come back home, like my vagina is this, my vagina is that. But if you release and give it to that man too soon, you actually like digging your own grave, because you're all going to have that connection. What you were saying, you'll have that chemistry, but that's not what's going to make that person fall in love. And usually with like love, there's intimacy, there's passion, and there's commitment. And if you have all three, which is rare, those are the relationships that last for years. But having 2 of the 3 is where you're going to get a strong connection. So yeah, intimacy is very important, but just monitor how fast and how quick you give off the intimacy. But the passion and the commitment, if you have those 2, you're going to have a long-term connection. And I see you got something to say, so I'm going to listen.
No. I want to ask you a question, right? So what happens if you have chemistry but no compatibility?
Then it's just going to be sex.
All right, it's going to be toxic.
It's going to be a toxic relationship. It's not going to grow. Because remember, for a man to fall in love, they have to bond with the female. So if they're just having that chemistry, which is where they're going to look for sexually, they're going to build up the testosterone, and they're never going to be actually committed in a relationship with anyone.
So are you saying that in order for a man to fall in love with a female, they have to have sex with them, or it's just quality time in general?
No, sex is a part of it, because according to the research, you need intimacy in it. Sex is important, but it's how soon you release the sex. Like if you do it right away, you're going to prevent the bonding from happening, and all they're going to look forward to is intimacy. And if you do that, then the testosterone levels go up. But if you build a bond first and connect with that person, then the testosterone, which is actually acting as like a firewall on a computer, y'all excuse me, I'm kind of a nerd, but it's acting like a firewall. So it's preventing any type of emotion going into that man's heart outside of looking at the physical appearance, because we know that men like the imagery. But when you're releasing it too soon, and what do they say, that they want to leave something to the imagination? Like, that's true. You gotta let the
So you gotta leave them
fantasize.
alone. You gotta leave them alone a little slow. That's what you saying.
Yeah, you gotta
don't give them everything
like,
at
that
once.
shit is crazy. Like, even like, women, like, we like having sex too, but it's like, when you go into something, you gotta watch yourself, because what do you really want with this person? Are you gonna just want to lay down and have intimacy with this person, or do you want something long lasting? If you want something long lasting, then you gotta watch and be careful of how soon you release that, because like I said, it's the testosterone, and it's an actual blockage. Like, learning that blocks the dopamine from even being released in the man. Yeah. See, when we have sex and we orgasm, we release that love hormone. So we falling in love, and he falling out of love, well, not falling in love, like, we're falling in love, but he's being blocked. So we might get tired and we can't go anywhere, and we're still sticking around, even if he get in a relationship, because we're actually in love. Now he gonna stick around because it's good or whatever, he gets something from it, but that's because we helped build his testosterone, and the next girl might have actually built something with him. But yeah.
And so what my sister is pretty much doing is giving you the science behind the word love. Because we often deal with it, but we often don't know what's happening in the brain, right? Yeah. And so she literally just broke it down. I don't know if you guys got all of that though, but neurotransmitters are released, dopamine is released, serotonin is released, and what's that old word you said? I don't know. Yeah, whatever she just said. These things are released. Usually what happens is there's chemistry off top. Yeah. A lot of guys mistake the chemistry for compatibility. You got the passion, you got a deep bond, you guys have this conversation, but if you follow the science within the brain, after 2 to 3 months, the dopamine, it levels out. The serotonin, it levels out. And that's when it has to be something after that. That's when the compatibility has to come in. Am I actually compatible with this person? Because when the dopamine is releasing, what happens is you overlook all the red flags. You overlook everything that you don't like about the person.
And that's usually with the woman and having orgasms. Look, they don't see, like, a lot of times, like, even with me and like my friends, like, we didn't see, like, this person we didn't really like this person, but
you were
like, it's after
the chemistry. Look, and as soon as it levels out, when you start looking at the red flags, if there's not compatibility there, that's when the arguing takes place. That's when the toxicity, the word T, I can't even say it. That's when that takes, whatever you just said. That's when that takes place, because you mistake the chemistry and the compatibility. Now look, the chemistry, if it's right and the person is compatible with you, that is when you build a long-lasting connection. What happens in a lot of situations, notice that word that I said, situations, is they run with the chemistry. Sex may be good, the bond may be good, and you overlook the red flags until it levels out. Once it levels out, you start saying, oh, why that person so lazy? That person don't have no drive. That person don't have no ambition. I don't like when that person do that. Why is she smacking in my ear? I don't like it's all types of things. I don't like when this person is snoring. That's because you didn't take your time to actually get to know the person. And what happens, and this is why a lot of marriages fail, sister, because they go off the chemistry. They get married 2 to 3 years in, and they really, truly don't even know the person. Not all marriages, just some of them, though, right?
And notice you said 2 to 3 years. So dopamine, if it's based purely on sex, it ends and dies down after 2 years.
But see, they still fight for that chemistry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After it dies down, guess what? Oh, divorce. Divorce, because now you see the person for who they are and they see you for who you are. And now there's clashing, there's conflict, there's arguing there. But this is just the science behind it. How would you, sister, define the word love? Now, we broke down the science, and that's good because you guys need to know that. Because usually that's what happens. You get attracted to a person, the conversation is good. One thing leads to another. Next thing you know, 2 to 3 months, y'all fighting, y'all arguing. All of these things that came out the closet, you didn't even know they had skeletons in the closet. They got 2 closets with skeletons in it. You didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? All these things coming out. But how would you define the word love, sister?
I think love can be categorized in many different ways. Now, I feel like there is a conditional love and there's an unconditional love. Love, for the most part, is something that just comes natural. Like when you have a child, you instantly fall in love with that child. Well, most people do. And it comes from either like a family type net bond, or it comes from just the getting heightened in the connection. Now, and that usually is unconditional. Conditional bonds are, I feel, happen usually more in relationships, because like your family, you were born to that family. Like they didn't have no choice but to be related to you. And based on society standards, you're told that you're supposed to love these people. So like naturally you fall in love with these people just based on that. Now the conditional love, I feel, is when you have these things like your love language or like chemistry and things like that that you can find in another being. And when you find those things, you get this inner emotion to where it feels almost like you're completed. So I feel like it's this inner, like, kind of knowing, this warm, fuzzy feeling, butterflies, whatever you want to call it. It's more of a feeling than like being able to actually put it in words. I hope I was able to describe it enough for people to understand.
You was on point. You was on point.
But
usually what happens is when that chemistry wears off in the brain, right? It's, I love you if you do this for me. Or I love you because you do this for me. And there's no compatibility behind it. And it's not unconditional.
I also want to say, you, in a relationship, you can get to the point where that loving on conditions turns to be unconditional with someone like a spouse or even like with a friend.
So unconditional, if I were to define it, it's an investment with no expectations of a return, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter what it looks like, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how life turns out, I love you.
Yeah.
No matter whether our physical appearances change, I love you. That's unconditional love. If something happened to you tomorrow and you were no longer able to walk, I love you. I got you. I got you. You don't have to worry about it. Like, I love you despite. I love you no matter what happens. There is no conditions for my love. Now, usually what happens is a lot of people say, I love you because you do this for me. Or I love you because you make me feel this way. Well, sometimes it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're going to have some arguments. Sometimes we're going to have some disagreements. Sometimes we're going to have some conflict. But can we get past that stage? Because if we can't get past that stage, then that's not truly what love is. Because now my love got restrictions. Now my love has shackles and handcuffs on it. I can't move and do things this way, because if I do, now you no longer love me. Well, you never loved me from the get-go. True love, to me, from my experience, is I know and understand that you're still growing and becoming. And as you grow and become, I'm not going to take my love away from you as you become and evolve to the best version of yourself, no matter what that looks like. I'm here and I'm down and I'm along for the ride. I got you, because life is full of tsunamis. Life is full of ups and downs. Life is full of darkness. Life is full of cliffhangers. People come in your life and people come out of your life. But that true love, it's no matter the seasons, I got you. It's unconditional. It's unrestricted, no matter what it looks like.
Yeah. And I feel like most people should try to get married based on unconditional love. But it seems like in this society, like we were talking last time, love has been a condition. Like, what can you do for me?
And I think what happens is, though, I think it's important for a person to love themselves.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for a person to love themselves and identify who they are within themselves, right? And I think that it's important for your spouse or your significant other to know who they are, right? And when you come together, you can help each other blossom and go further. But what happens is this person don't know who they are. You don't know who you are. Y'all come together, y'all still discovering, and you thought that you was in love with her, but that ain't really her.
Yeah.
That's not really her. You see all the red flags. Now the fighting, the arguing is there, and it's vice versa on her end. And I think that when you get to that love point, you have to understand that this is not built overnight.
Yeah.
It's not built overnight. It takes time. You have to lay brick after brick. And if you got another partner there helping you lay brick, now we can build the fortress, and nobody can invade this fortress. This fortress, it contains me and you. And none of the outside noise, none of your friends' opinions, none of my friends' opinions, none of your single friends that always got an opinion, but they ain't never been with a motherfucker a day in their life. Now they can't get into the fortress. I'm just saying, motherfuckers always got an opinion and they ain't even married. How you got an opinion about a married couple when you ain't married? Stay in your lane. You don't even know what it's like over here. You know, we in the HOV lane. You in traffic. Stay over there. You know what I'm saying?
Not the whole lane.
I'm just saying, motherfuckers always got an opinion, but they ain't never been there before. Once that fortress is built, ain't nothing go through these walls. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, I agree. But it's just, I don't know. This is a good topic today. I really
topic. You see that 30 minutes? It always flies by so fast. It always flies by so fast. These are good topics and dialogues that we love to have amongst you guys. Any questions? Always. Do we got the email pinned?
Hold on. And right now we're gonna open the chat. If anybody has any questions, let's see.
Hey, you broke that down today. You hear me?
Because I feel like women need to understand that. Because to us, we don't understand why someone isn't wanting to commit. But all of our elders been telling us, like, you can't give the man what is it?
Like I said, man, why am I gonna buy the farm if I can get the cow and the milk for free?
Exactly. It's like, all I did was break that down in scientific terms.
Yeah.
It takes a man a lot longer to fall in love than it is going to be a woman. And the sooner you give out your milk and honey to this man, the sooner he doesn't value what you have to offer outside of your milk and honey, because it's all you become to him.
Yeah, I will say that, but I will say too, once that man is actually in love with you,
yeah,
like I'm talking about it's actually in love, not
long term.
Yeah,
it's
like
long term.
Well, I'm speaking for us Capricorns, because I'm a Capricorn, me myself personally. I can't speak for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But I don't just jump in and say I love somebody. You know what I'm saying? If I love you, I process and analyze every single thought in my head. I've sat down with my heart and my mind, and I align those two together. I really mean it. You know what I'm saying? So I got you. I'm thirsty too. I ain't even got my water over here.
But yeah, I went ahead and I pinned the email up. It's the444cast@gmail.com. We're still taking questions. We just really wanted to talk on this topic. You see, the 30 minutes went by extremely fast. So continue to inbox us any questions that you would like advice on, or even a question that you just want us to talk about. And you'll be completely anonymous. We may mention your age or your sex, but outside of that, no one ever know that you wrote. Also, you can email us. Anything else you want to say before I end it?
No, we good.
Well, once again, it's your girl, Corey.
It's your boy, Chemist.
And thank you for tuning in to Black Box Conversations. Make sure y'all get them questions to us because we'll be going live again on Saturday at 12 noon. Y'all have a great day.